Okay. 18.5, angles of elevation and depression. We'll begin by talking about an angle of elevation. So we need to understand what that is, because that will allow us to know from what angle we're working and what the measure of that is if we're looking for it or solving for it or just whatever that designates itself to be. So what is an angle of elevation? So if I'm standing here and by looking straight across, I see, this is my straight line of sight. But from there, if I look up, that angle that's created right there is my angle of elevation. It's going up, elevate. So the words say, when looking up to an object, the angle of elevation is formed by an observer's line of sight. So this is after you've looked up, line of sight, and a horizontal line. So the horizontal line from where your eyesight began. Okay, so this angle there. So you can see we're creating these right triangles. Okay, so over here it says Casey sights the top of an 84-foot tall. So this is a 84-foot tall building, 84 feet. Okay, and here's Casey. So it's the same figure over here, I guess. And here's where he's looking straight across. And here's where he's looking up to the top. So the whole thing's 84 feet. Angle of elevation of 58 degrees. Okay, so here's my right triangle. If Casey's 6 feet tall, that means this distance from here to here is 6 feet. So my right triangle now, this side isn't 84, this side is 84 minus 6, because that's what this side would be, because the whole tower was 84, and he's 6 feet tall, so I have to take away his 6 feet to get that side. So my triangle now is going to be what, 78, 58 degree angle, and what are we looking for? How far is he standing from the base of the lighthouse? So this side right there. Okay, so from that angle, you have the side opposite and the side adjacent. So that's tangent. Tangent, angle 58, equals side opposite over adjacent. Cross multiply. X is going to equal, well, the tangent of 58 times the x equals 78. So divide by the tangent of 58. So back over to here, x is going to equal 78 divided by the tangent of 58, and that's going to give me right around 48.74 feet, because it's a distance. Okay, so put that in your calculator, make sure it's right. So we would be in degree mode because our angle's in degrees. A dog is standing 5 feet from the base of a tree. So here's a tree. Here's 5 feet. Dog. Standing 5 feet from the base of the tree. Looking up at a cat that has climbed 16 feet up the tree. So at some point is 16 feet up. Drawing not to scale. What is the angle of elevation from the point the dog is standing and to the cat? So this angle right here, we'll call it x degrees. All right, so now we have the angle, and the relationship of this side would be opposite and this side would be adjacent. So tangent of the angle is going to equal 16 over 5. Oh, solve for the angle. We use the inverse of the fraction, or the ratio, is going to equal the angle. So on your calculator, you do second function tangent, and then type in the fraction 16 over 5, and hit enter. So just like we did previous assignment, and you should get 72.65 degrees. Okay, so that's using the angle of elevation. Now this one, the angle of depression, this is like a downward angle. So it's the same idea. If if you're up high, your horizontal line of sight, and then look down to a new line of sight, okay, creates this angle of depression right here. So if they're talking about the angle of depression, it's from somewhere going down, okay? Now, the key to this is we make our right triangle, and we have to note that if this were a horizontal line, and this were a horizontal line, they'd be parallel, and alternate interior angles are the same. So here's the triangle we're going to make is here. When we have angle of depression, we have to note we're going to use this angle down here because it's the same as the actual angle of depression. Okay, so this is the one we're going to use. So when we draw our figures, and we're talking about an angle of depression, we may have to just use this one because this is inside the triangle. Okay, so this situation, when looking down to, well, let's read. When looking down to an object, the angle of depression is formed by an observer's line of sight and the horizontal line. The angle of depression is congruent to the angle of elevation from the bottom because they are alternate interior angles. So the angle of elevation from down here is the same as the angle of depression up high. All right, a lifeguard sitting on a platform, so this figure it looks like, looking down at a swimmer. If the lifeguard's line of sight is 8 feet above the ground, and the angle of depression to the swimmer is 18 degrees, so 8 feet above the ground, looking down. So he's looking down, and that angle is 18 degrees. So that means this one is 18 degrees, and that's the one we're going to use inside the triangle there. How far away is the swimmer from the lifeguard? So it's this horizontal distance. Swimmer, lifeguard's line of sight. So we're going to find this horizontal distance. So here's the angle we're going to use right here. So opposite and adjacent is the ratio we have, so that's tangent. So we'll set it up. Tangent of the angle equals opposite over adjacent. Cross multiply. X times the tangent of 18 equals 8 times 1. So we've solved enough of these to realize that it's just going to be 8 divided by the tangent of 18. So on your calculator, 8 divided by the tangent of 18. And you get 24.62 feet. It's a distance, so feet. Okay, and now the last example. While standing on top of a hill at a ski resort, there's a hill, Lisa spots the ski lodge below. So we're going to make our right triangle. Ski lodge down here. If the vertical height of the hill is 1,209 feet, and the angle of depression is 53 degrees, what distance must Lisa ski in order to reach the lodge? So she's got to ski down the slope. So that would be this. So this angle and this angle are the same. So we'll use that angle inside the triangle. All right, so from this angle I have the side opposite and I have the hypotenuse. So that is the sine function. So sine 53, the side opposite over hypotenuse. So now I just cross multiply. So it's x times the sine of 53 equals 1209. Cross multiply. So now I'm just dividing. So x is going to equal 1,209 divided by sine of 53. So that's how we get x by itself, divided by the sine of 53. So 1209 divided by sine of 53, that will be 1,513.83 feet. All right, your assignment is just that. It's the same types of questions. You just set them up, and you're either going to solve for a side or solve for an angle. Okay, and you're going to note your angle of elevation or angle of depression, and there you go.